Alright guys, just thought I'd make a quick little video on the task at hand today, which is going to be undercoating this beautiful Volvo 945 from 1998. This is my new kind of small restoration I don't really know. I just had to buy it. You know, it was low mileage, 140,000 kilometers, and it's in really good shape. I actually started daily driving this for about a week after I got the inspection good. After we did the brakes on it, see another video down below or up here or something where I did that. I took it to work, I cleaned it off underneath, and then I saw how good this car is. And now I don't really want to drive it in the winter anymore. I just want to get some rust protection on there, and then this might have to be a summer car, I think. It's a little bit too good for me. I just can't do that. Like, I know that these don't grow on trees anymore, and they need to be kept out of the salt, basically. But we definitely need some kind of protection on it because it's kind of rotted out, the protection that is on their stock. So we're just gonna get some fluid film on there. If you don't know what fluid film is, there will be a link to a great video down below. I don't want to take anything from him. Just go there, watch his video, because he does an awesome, explanation of what POR 15, that's something else. What fluid film is and what it does. This camera's heavy. I'm gonna put you on here. Ooh, got myself a quick lock for Christmas. That is great. Anyway, let's get away from that ticking noise. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna scrape a little bit more in the wheel houses, get some of that nasty dirt off. I have a dirt road to and from daycare, so it's accumulated a little bit. So we're gonna get rid of that. Now, before you spray fluid film, you don't necessarily need to clean the undercarriage. Like, you don't have to go crazy on it. Just get rid of the loose sitting dirt, the loose sitting paint, and just go over anything that is rusty with a wire brush, just so that it doesn't start flaking off in bigger pieces, because then it will take the fluid film with it, and that wouldn't be so ideal. So you definitely want to kind of go over everything with a wire brush just quickly, make sure that there isn't anything really loose on there, and then you can just go ahead and apply it. It doesn't need to be super clean. And also, it's good if it's not wet. It also creeps, so it will also creep into anything that has, like if you have a crack between two panels or something and rust has started getting in there, this will creep in there and seal it off from oxygen so that it'll stop rusting. And that's just something that's really good with this product. There are, of course, some downsides to using fluid film, and the biggest one is that it doesn't last. You gotta reapply every 18 months, 2 years. I'm probably gonna look it over every year. You can just buy one of the small spray bottles of fluid film and just kind of where it's starting to rust or where you can see that it's thin. But the advantages definitely outweigh the disadvantages. And if you ever want to get rid of it, unlike using petroleum-based undercoatings where you kind of scrape it off, you have to apply several layers over years, and it's just going to be a mess when you want to get rid of it. This one you can just wash it off and it'll be gone. Just use some degreaser, high pressure wash it, and it'll look like brand new again. And you can reapply it or do whatever you want to do. Let's get to it. Let's stop talking. Let's get this fluid film on here. I hope that will be fine, guys. We'll see what happens here. Very tricky to film this stuff. So what I'm doing here is I'm just spraying into every crevice, every hole, everything that is underneath the car. There are several holes meant to be opened. There's a little plug made out of rubber usually, or hard plastic. You just remove those and you get your wand in there, and then you just hit it a lot. Go back and forward, have a look inside the hole, make sure it's not double-sided. And if it is double-sided, make sure you take each side. Like the rocker panels, for example, is one of those places where you have both a left and a right side. You want to make sure you cover both of them. Go in there with a little light, just have a look, make sure you've covered it good. Move on, go front to back. Try to avoid getting it all over yourself, even though it's dang near impossible. You see I'm wearing a PPE suit here with the breathing mask, full mask, and it's not a very fun job. This will get completely everywhere because it atomizes pretty good in the nozzle there. It's just kind of unavoidable. You know, I don't know what to tell you. You know, it will make a mess out of yourself, your garage, and your car, and everything. It just gets everywhere. But that's kind of the point, and it's a good thing if you think about it. You know, I'm getting this stuff up on the hood of the car. What do you think the inside of the rocker panel looks like? I mean, it's completely covered, which is really good. It's just one of those jobs where it's gonna be messy no matter how you do it. So just prepare for it, wear a PPE, wear a breathing mask. You don't wanna, this is completely safe, if you will. This is lamb's wool. This is extracted fat from lamb's wool. So basically you take a wool and you dip it in some kind of alkaline degreaser, and then you spin it through a centrifuge and you get this oil out. And that's basically what this is. And yes, it does have a special type of flavor to it. Definitely. It smells organic in a way, because it is. You know, it doesn't smell like sheep's wool, because that's just terrible, but it's somewhere around there. It's animalistic, let's put it that way. And the best way to describe what's coming out of the nozzle, it's like lard, like grease, basically. Let's imagine that you've cooked bacon and then you wake up the next day and the stuff in the frying pan, the fat, that is basically what's coming out of the nozzle. That's basically what it is. So it's very, very flötigt, as we say in Sweden. So it's very greasy. It's very greasy, it's very shiny, and it atomizes a lot. So you can just imagine the situation we're dealing with here. Make sure you prepare. I should have prepared more, actually. I probably should have put something down along the sides of the car so that it wouldn't go out into the entire garage, because the entire garage is now very much undercoated, which is something I didn't really expect. But just imagine if you were doing this with a petroleum-based undercoating, and you know, then you would have this black tar stuff, which is poisonous as well, and that's just even worse, and it just gets everywhere. You step in it, oh, now you got it all over your garage floor, you got it all over the studio floor, you got it all over the house. You know, it's just terrible. I've tried that too. This is definitely the best of the best when it comes to that. You know, it doesn't leave a mark. Yes, it gets a little slippery, but you can clean it off. It doesn't leave any visible damage anyway. Now, something you're gonna have to do every year is just to take the inner fenders out. Just have a look, make sure it's all good. You might not need to go inside the frame rails and stuff every year. Maybe it's okay if you do that, I don't know, every 5 years. You know, have a little look in there with a camera or with a flashlight at least. Make sure it's all good. But you want to cover this exterior stuff, everything that is exposed to the natural environments as you're driving along, like the gearbox, cross member, you know, all that stuff. The rear axle, you want to make sure that that is still covered. Everything that gets a spray of water, it will get removed over time. So every year, just put the car up, you know, go under there with a manual little spray bottle of a fluid film and just add a little more. That's basically all you got to do. Check it out. Make sure it's good. Make sure you don't skip that though, because then you will start seeing rust again once it washes off. So anyway, this is basically how it's done. You just spray it all down. Not much to it. You know, make sure you get into all the crevices. You may notice that I'm not going into the doors, I'm not going into the trunk, I'm not doing anything like that, and that's because I want to polish this car in the spring, and this, since it creeps, it will actually creep out onto the paint if you apply a little bit too much, which I will probably do. So I want to make sure that I got the car polished before anything like that, because I don't want my polish pad to kind of get into that fluid film. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit, and we'll do that this summer. We'll make sure we get a lift, and we'll just revisit this, see how it's done, and do the doors, maybe pull out the interior, do some more rails and frame holes inside the interior. Like if you lift out the interior, you will find more of these plugs that you can remove and just get a really, really proper job in there. Also, around the rear fenders, there's a little hole space that you need to fill up. We'll do that as well. But we'll do that when the summer comes around, because, you know, this is 5 liters of this stuff is applied in this video, and I probably need at least, I would say, 3 liters, 2 liters more or something like that to cover the doors and everything else that we need to do. Anyway, I know I told you guys this wasn't going to be a long video, and this is basically where we're going to end it. So, hope you guys have had an amazing Christmas. I've been lying under a Volvo 945 spraying fluid film, so that pretty much talks for itself. It's been awesome. So, hope you guys have a great New Year, and I'll see you on the other side when I have a lot more in store for this channel. Alright, see you guys later. Alright, I didn't think this camera was still going. Alright, so might have put a little bit much on there, but now it is all greased up. And let me tell you, this stuff is greasy with a G. Like, this is some crazy stuff. And I got it on my brake thing, so I'm gonna have to get some brake cleaner, try to get that off. Sorry about the camera angles there, guys. It was just way too difficult. Everything was just so sticky, I didn't want to touch the camera. But this is kind of how it turned out. I am pretty happy. Unfortunately, the whole car is covered in this now. Got a little dusty there. So, I think I'm gonna have to wash the car now.